The museum curator sought to blank the damaged artifact, but experts warned that any attempt might further blank its fragile structure. When faced with a too-blank question like this one, the first thing we'll do is read the full sentence and try to understand its overall meaning, even with both words missing. Then, before looking at the choices, we'll try filling each blank with our own simple placeholder word based on the context. Often, the structure of the sentence will give us a clue about how the two blanks relate to one another, whether the sentence is showing contrast, cause and effect, or adding two similar ideas. After that, we'll take a look at our choices. Because each option gives us a pair of words, both words in the pair must fit our sentence. If one word doesn't work, we can mark that entire choice off. With this in mind, let's take a closer look at our sentence. We see that the museum curator is trying to do something to a damaged artifact. Because the artifact is described as damaged and fragile, whatever the curator wants to do is likely gentle and protective in nature. Then we're told that experts warned that any attempt might further do something to its fragile structure, meaning whatever fills the second blank must describe making the damage worse, as they're being warned against it. With this in mind, we might fill the blanks with something like, try to preserve the artifact, but experts warned that doing so might further damage its fragile structure. Now that we have our placeholder ideas, let's take a look at our choices. A. Display the damaged artifact, stabilize its fragile structure. Display means show to the public, which doesn't match the curator's likely intention when dealing with a damaged artifact. And stabilize means to make steadier or more secure, which is the opposite of making the structure worse. As neither word works in our context, this pair can be marked off. D. Transport the damaged artifact, strengthen its fragile structure. Transport means to move something, which again doesn't match the idea of trying to treat or protect the damage. Even if the curator were trying to transport the artifact, strengthen is also the opposite of what the experts are warning about. They aren't warning that attempts might strengthen the artifact, but that it might weaken or damage it. This choice can be marked off. C. Preserve the damaged artifact, compromise its fragile structure. Preserve means to protect or maintain something in its current condition, which matches perfectly with what a curator would want to do with a damaged artifact. Compromise in this context means to weaken or damage, which fits with the expert's warnings that any attempt might further harm the fragile structure. As both words fit our context and placeholders, this is likely our answer, but we'll take a look at the remaining choices just to be sure. D. Authenticate the damaged artifact, reinforce its fragile structure. Authenticate means verify something as genuine. Although this doesn't match perfectly with the preserve placeholder word we came up with, it could be that the museum curator does want to authenticate the damaged artifact. However, reinforce means strengthen, which is the opposite of making the structure worse. Because strengthen doesn't work in our context, we can mark this choice off. And E, replicate the damaged artifact, refine its fragile structure. Replicate means to create a copy. It could be that the museum curator wants to make a copy of the damaged artifact. However, refine means to improve or perfect, which doesn't match the warning about further harming the structure. This being the case, we can mark this choice off and mark our original answer, choice C, as our final answer.